I call this meeting order. Please rise to the flag. To the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Caucus?
Here.
Mrs. Pasio?
Here.
Mr. Ramirez?
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Here.
Mr. Borough?
Here.
Mrs. Kelly? Here. Mr. Root?
Here.
Mr. Wood?
Here.
And Mr. Bayshore?
Here.
I would say we have an excellent attendance. Our group does a great job showing up. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely
Because everybody loves their
To your
job.
credit, it's to your credit.
That's right.
You're the leader.
Yeah, everyone shows up.
And we,
We enjoy it.
All right, good. So I'll say the statement first. Statement: public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4th, 2017. And two, emailed to the retrospect and Perry Post on January 4th, 2017. We do have a little order of business. A request authorization for the clerk to advertise for 2018 professional services. It's just a motion.
This is a motion.
Someone wants to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, amazingly, we're already advertised. So it's on the website.
I did my bewitched and
So just to be clear, there's certain positions that have to be filled every year. And actually, Ms. Passio was just going over the reorganization meeting and who has to be
When is
appointed.
real? Do we have a date yet?
I think it's Saturday now. Is that,
The 6th.
does anybody want to discuss that? Is it Saturday, the 6th, a better day than Sunday or Friday or?
Sunday if the Eagles, if anything happens with the Eagles, we don't
Yes,
play.
Eagles are going to do good. So.
Yes,
We're going to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I'm
so
there.
we're gonna leave Sunday, we're gonna leave Sunday open.
What's this, is there any consensus?
And when is real?
Saturday.
Oh,
That's going to be, it's just made.
He won't be here if it's a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
That's not fair.
Yeah, no,
What about a Friday?
Well, the dates are basically any date after the first, but it has to be done by the second.
So what about Friday?
Well, the second is our
The second is the day after New Year's and.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, the day after New Year's
So
Day.
it could be that day, that would be just
What's
an
wrong with
evening.
that?
Oh, I just,
You're not going to have it.
like to relax.
You got to have reorg first.
Well, we usually back them up, we do back to back. Everyone's pretty much consensus always been to do, the reorganization and just go right into
Another meeting.
pay the bills and whatever, and do all that kind of stuff.
My vote is to stay with the second.
So if we do reorg first, we could just have the meeting right after?
Yeah.
Back that.
Yeah, bang, bang.
Let's keep it with the same night and do it the second.
Well, what do you think, Mr.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Patty? Is
One and
that,
done.
well, I'm not, but that's okay.
One and done.
Well, because I know,
I like,
Patty's idea was the seventh. The seventh can be tricky because it's a Sunday and all the other things.
we have to order the.
The sixth is not a bad idea,
We
but
have
we
to
wouldn't
do
want to,
that, and it's New Year's
we want
Day.
Bob not to be there.
You know, I like a little space in between the New Year's Eve holiday.
Do anything. Well, we're gonna make the decisions quickly. Come on.
Either way, I'm
Still have
And our
daycare.
party
Well,
that
let's take
night.
a vote.
And our
Are
party
we gonna
that
go
night.
with the second or not?
You got to make a decision, you got to make a decision tonight.
Okay.
I don't have much time to advertise it.
Here's the vote, here, raise your hand.
what day's the second one? What's the
What do you got?
Regular meeting.
So I'm for
The
Tuesday.
second is reorg first at whatever time, I don't know time.
I'm for Tuesday.
Followed immediately by the.
What do you think, Patty, 5 or 6 o'clock?
You gotta vote. You gotta vote.
Do 6, and then we'll have our regular meeting at
So
7.
6, 7, boom.
Yeah, but wait a second, what about our after party, so our reception and all of that? We are gonna have.
Start at 5.
I think you
Yeah,
do it
so
at
that's,
You start at
I
5,
talked to
5:30 or
whatever-
something. It is a work week.
whatever he
Isn't that a
wants,
late
we have to
start?
talk together. We'll talk about that
five.
after.
Yeah, start at five.
Okay, so, all right, the second, we'll have it starting at 5, and then at 6 will be the regular meeting, and then at 7, we'll go over to Philly Diner.
Good. Well, we'll start, oh,
Well,
okay,
we have to
five.
call and make sure
Yeah,
it's real.
All right, so give us, that's a good tentative plan.
That's our
We'll-
tentative
we'll-
plan.
The tentative plan.
Okay,
Real is
I know, I'm saying, but you gave it a whole hour.
Second.
If you,
What do you think, make it a half hour?
or just.
By the time you
what
have
do you
it
think about
faster-
advertising that reorganization at 5 o'clock on January 2nd, filed immediately by
Right,
the regular
yes.
meeting?
Yes.
Without time,
That's good.
all right?
That's
I think
good.
we're covered, I think we're legal to do that. And now, however, when we get it done, you just keep right on.
5's not too early, I
Because
guess.
if we say 6, then we get done at 5.
Yeah, we have to
We
wait.
gotta wait.
It's a Tuesday?
For Tuesday.
I mean, I'll make it work myself.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Yeah,
It's tentative at this point.
I can be there.
Okay, so we're all set for the second for reorg. Wonderful.
We're close. All right. So what else did I want to say about the, just for everyone's notice again, is that Mr. Diorio will be starting next Monday. So Mr. Law will no longer be our acting CFO. Mr. Diorio will start on that. Did you have a question about that?
Not about that, that's something.
Okay. So that'll be a change. Okay, so we'll run through new business. So new business, resolution awarding contract to AWSCC for 2010. Is that the animal
Was there a motion or a second on the?
law, Lobenstein and Patsy?
Yeah.
On what?
Advertising.
Okay, I didn't hear it, I'm sorry, okay.
Oh, yes.
So resolution awarding contract for this, it's the same amount of money for the,
No, it went up $600. It went from,
New Year's?
it's animal control,
it
it's,
went from 12,000 last year, now it's 12,600 for 2000.
I do it.
What do they really do?
It's too much.
The shelter, they take a lot of dogs.
and then, sometimes we can charge more if the animal needs treatment or anything like that.
It has to go to one of the hospitals, animal hospitals.
It's a good question.
All right, so discussion of ordinance emergency management. We have to clarify, the clerk and I have been looking for a missing ordinance.
What we do about the resolution that we just talked about?
Well, we'll do it at the council meeting. We don't have to do it this evening, right?
12.6,
Yeah,
Well, fine.
12.
12, I think you said it was 12, it went up 600.
No, 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 no.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. We thought you were talking about.
The date of the meeting, that was pretty funny.
12/6 is the contract, 12/5 is the week.
Discussion of the ordinance. Mr. Laverty feels that ordinance was already passed years ago. We're having a hard time locating it because it's not in our electronic format or in our paper books. So we're contacting the state because we would have been required to send it up to them. If for some reason we did not pass this ordinance, we'll have to redo it. And it's just, we'll do it at the beginning of next year, we'll do first reading, and it's just a standard
You already
boilerplate.
You already had it, you said it, right?
It's a boilerplate, it's just it's based, the state gives you an outline. The only thing we could do is maybe add in a little bit, I was looking at some other municipalities where they do a good job of having a small paragraph that kind of designates what titles make up the committee that is part of the OEM. You would have your police chief, you know what I mean? You list the titles, that would be part of it. The only other thing that's not on here, but I'm going to just add it, is just a discussion. It wouldn't start this year. We don't like to do ordinances in the middle of December going into January. You can't, so it's illegal, so that's why we don't
You
do
can
it.
have a
Well, we
first.
don't like that.
We do first
You
reading.
can't have the 5th, like, we meet on the 19th.
We meet at the very end of the month.
Very end of the month.
Can we do
No, it's
first?
19th,
It's not the 19th, no.
so it's the
More
week
like
after Christmas.
the week after
And
Christmas.
it's
Between.
usually earlier.
It's a quick meeting. It's-
Yes, it's usually earlier. I can't remember exactly.
I wouldn't want to do a public hearing like that, not that's a big deal.
But you can if you need.
Yeah, so we'll more than likely do first reading for that. It's, hopefully we're going to find it. And the second thing is, and this is not something we really discussed too much today, but it was brought to our attention, I think Mr. Neary got some of the emails. The borough hasn't done anything to regulate these portable storage
Well, the pods.
pots, where they portable, what does it even stand for?
I don't know.
Just pods.
Portable storage. So the idea is that, and then we would update our ordinance about roll-off containers and add that language. So when you're talking about a dumpster in front of someone's house or these storage containers, basically it puts it to the chief of police because it's usually in the road. Or if it's not in the road, then it's on the property, but the chief could be involved in it.
Pods are usually on the property, not on the street.
Yeah, dumpsters tend to be on but the ordinance that I've read kind of gives the chief a little bit of latitude to look at, because I guess there's
So it
going
would
to
be
be,
the chief making the decision on whether it should go.
it's safe, and there were certain rules like that the road has to be wide enough. If the road's not wide, like Third Avenue would be tough to put a pod or a dumpster on the middle of Third, we have parking on both sides, and it's a single passing lane.
What about the length of time?
30 days, pretty much all the ordinances that I read are 30 days, you pay $25.
Do we have a roll-off container ordinance now, but it doesn't address that?
It doesn't address it, yes. So it would be just an amendment to the
What are
current one.
pods used for?
All right, when I redid my kitchen, I took everything out of my kitchen, put it in a storage container. But on my property, it was pretty easy. I had a big backyard. I had it dropped off. I put everything in there. Finished the kitchen, brought everything back in. It was a short period of
So maybe it takes
time.
someone longer to do something.
You always have such a good
Yeah,
line.
I do, I really.
All right, here's the
really
problem,
do.
here's the problem, when you don't draw a line, people take advantage.
I mean,
The reason it's come to our attention, we never even thought about it, because of one person.
Yeah,
Because of one person has abused it, but we have no mechanism to regulate it.
so, okay, so I need you to extend my time because I
Then
didn't
ask,
And
and
I-
come back in, apply again,
And do I have to pay again?
problem.
can we make it, it has to be on it has to be in their driveway or on their property unless approved by the town?
Or else we put it.
Well, most people have room in their driveway, an extra spot.
But even that, you've got neighbors complaining
Well, we
that
don't
someone
want
puts
pods in
a,
the street.
Right.
Pods should not be in the street.
but even then,
I
there,
understand where you're going with that, because if you hear the end of the sentence,
what was that?
or unless approved.
Right, unless approved.
Can't be on the street, so.
That's our ordinance, it's gotta be on their property.
But then you have to think about.
Special situation.
Well, you still have the chief,
Yeah, we want to, okay.
because he might allow it to be on the street.
Wouldn't keep
It should only be level.
The ordinance says that, here's how Keith does it. Between the curbs is the police department. Curb to curb is the police. Curb to the property is code enforcement. That's kind of how they look
That's
at
where they
it.
belong.
So if it's a pod and it's on your property, which it has to be, it can't be in the street.
Well, that's not
But
true.
there's certain properties in this town that you can't put it on there. They don't have driveways. We have a lot of homes without
I
driveways.
think they need to get approval from the township.
Either way, they have to approve. They gotta get somebody to say it's okay. And then it's 30 days. Now, you would say, well, what if it takes 90 days to fix the kitchen? I know people that they've been working on their kitchen for 2 years. What do you do about that? You know, there has to be a line.
My
My
suggestion
house
is
in the
that
basement, so.
it should be standard on your property or driveway, unless otherwise approved or something. This will make people get rid of it quicker, because they don't care if it's off. If they got their 2 spots to park in, they're not in any rush to get rid of it.
And I'll do some research to see if other people. have-
Same thing with dumpsters.
They don't have pods everywhere.
So portable
We
storage
don't
is
have
all up to
pods
date.
everywhere.
That's all.
Joel, we wanted one. The towns that I saw, they had 2 separate ordinances, which is terrible. Because I hate when you read one ordinance and it says, go read the other one.
Yeah.
So now you're reading this one, and then you gotta go
So
read.
what I'll try to do for, and I won't have it done, I'll tell you right now by next week.
I have 2 copies of it. Joyce has 2 copies. Can I give you Joyce?
And
Or Montclair.
what I'll do is
I don't have
I'll-
a pod on it at all.
I'll try to put something
I have
together
OEM.
to give to everybody at the end of the month. Then we can look at it, we talk about it briefly on the reorganization meeting, or if everybody decides they like it, we can do first reading. Because don't forget, we can do first reading by title only, and then we can find
Yes.
people in.
And realize this also, Patty, a rental is 30 days. So it kind of coincides with a rental. So they're not owning these things. So it's very different. They're renting these ponds, and most people who rent dumpsters, they want to get them in and out. And sometimes they don't even get 30 days for dumpster freedom. What's that?
I said freedom.
But it's other people. You're putting a pond next in someone's street, and taking up that street. And it doesn't move.
Well, we prefer them not to put in a pod in
Well,
the street.
Or dumpster.
Are you doing this all together, so dumpsters are gonna be treated like pods?
Similarly, it's in the same paragraphs. I don't think we should have 2 different paragraphs. When I was looking at another town, they already had roll-offs, and all of a sudden pods came out. They did a whole separate chapter for ponds. Why do that? And then say, go back to this. Because what it both said was, refer to the chief of police for $25 for 30 days.
Let Len draw something up. My feeling is the pods should not be in the street. They should be, only with the approval of the town, should they be in the street. Now, the dumpsters, that's a whole nother deal. I don't know what our ordinance says about dumpsters. Are they allowed in the street?
They are allowed on the street.
But if
But
you
we're-
make it a permissive, an approval thing, if you say, I'm just thinking out loud, okay, you say, whatever we're gonna call all these things, portable storage, roll-off containers, dumpsters, pods, and the like, may not be placed in the street except upon the approval of the chief of police or his designee. So the chief can go look at the street and say, you know what, this
It's a
street's
dead-end
too
street.
narrow for us to put a dumpster.
The way it should be.
So if you, and then I think you solve both problems, but now the person in charge of worrying about traffic concerns is gonna be taking a look at it and making a decision. But we'll see.
And there's a lot of streets that are way too narrow for
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like that.
But people won't throw it out in the street as quickly as they would if they just set it in their driveway. That's the way
I'm
it
just
works.
concerned with the lens, because the pods are, are one thing, but if somebody's doing construction on a house, that's
It's a 40
normally
footer.
gonna go over 30 days.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
we
that-
want people
that
to
thing-
fix their
that thing is
houses, we want
huge.
people to do things,
And
but
that's-
The problem is you gotta
Oh,
do
yeah,
all
we can
the
raise our hand, yeah, but it's, you want people to work on their houses
Yeah.
and redo
What do
these
you charge,
houses,
$25?
and then you're gonna double dip them and
It's
all?
$25.
Once again,
Michael, what do you
someone
think?
someone else has to look at that dumpster for 6 months or 2 years. See, that's the problem. If you don't at least draw a line,
There's
how long
gotta
is
be, well, there's gotta be a bigger line between 30 days and 2 years,
okay.
Oh, that's
you know,
crazy.
without going back every month and getting another permit for
Once
this
again,
dumpster.
I bet you I've rented, well, you've probably rented more dumpsters than me, but I've rented a lot of dumpsters in my town. In Thetford, Harry's rented a lot of dumpsters. You rent a dumpster, you get rid of it as quickly as possible.
Yes, you can.
They want that going, but
You
also
load it
have
up
the process.
and you get rid of it.
Wait a minute. I had 2 dumpsters when Frank died, and one was 8 days and the other one was 5 days.
Yeah.
Bing, out, gone.
The
Remember,
problem,
we did the basement with one, and we did the house with the other. You were-
Patty,
some
the issue
people
is,
it takes longer.
the other
Some
people,
don't have
but
the
the
money.
other people have rights. What about the other people? See, I understand you're talking about the rights of the person who's doing the work and
Yeah.
doing the storage. What about the rights of the neighbors? When we live in society like this, we have, what do we do here? All we do here is think about, all our problems are neighbor problems. It's somebody against somebody, isn't it? Everything we do, from sidewalks to everything.
I will look into possibility, and I just don't know off the top of my head, so I'll look into it. Maybe we can have categories. Maybe dumpsters is 10 category, and that's 90 things, but pods and roll-offs and portable storage is 30.
I don't get it.
You know, like you said, they're not making money if that dumpster's just sitting there, nor is the dumpster company.
Right.
So if you go more than a week to 2 weeks, the dumpster company's calling you anyhow.
Yes.
But, if needed, then, you know, they make arrangements, all right, listen, you know, we're gutting this house totally, and, you know, there's gonna be a dumpster through the whole construction process, not just the tear
So
out.
they come in and they
So
say-
it could be 60, 90 days.
Okay, or maybe longer, but so if we make it, again, if we're able to do that, and not.
But there's a regulation, once again, who's gonna go out there and regulate it? Mr. Wasson, what is the one thing we're resolving next year in the Borough of Runnemede that is a problem that you and I have identified? What were we currently doing?
There's so much we've been doing.
We were renting dumpsters.
Yes.
And how much was it costing us to rent those dumpsters?
They, depending on who you're getting it from, anywhere from $175 a week to $350.
Okay, what are we doing to resolve that problem?
We are purchasing our own dumpsters and we have control of them.
You see, now there's
Yeah, but
you never even said.
When you dump, where are you dumping?
Same places that the contractor was, we already have.
But now, instead of renting, we're buying them. Now, I'm not saying that people are gonna buy their own dumpsters, but once again, this is another issue that we haven't.
All right,
really
so we
addressed.
buy a dumpster.
So if you
and
buy your
we buy
dumpster,
a-
then you don't have to move it?
That's, I'm sorry, guys, I'm just giving you devil's advocate. Because one of the other problems that we haven't really dealt with, and we've kind of,
And I assume our dumpsters are gonna be on our property.
yes. But like, I'll give you another example, that we do not, I'm gonna be, everyone in the audience, we do not enforce this ordinance that we currently have. We have a current ordinance right now that talks about containers. We don't enforce it. You wanna know why?
And do you have to have commercial property separate?
Possibly.
Because if they have dumpsters on their,
Well, this is a little different. These are the roll-offs. That's why they're specifically called roll-offs. But we have a container issue. We don't allow containers in the Borough of Runnemede. But yet they're all over the place. Guess who the biggest abuser is? The Borough of Runnemede.
Storage containers.
Yes. So these are things you just have to identify. So years ago, Keith Knight was told not to enforce that law.
Oh.
Well, once again,
instead of
eventually,
changing it, they just tell them not to do it.
eventually we had to fix it.
Maybe with this also.
Yeah, all right, so there's.
You'll evaluate.
Containers, you gotta look up
I'm
containers.
Do something so we can get it started, because
Because here's the only thing, guys.
there's so
We
many.
have a resident complaining. And I know it's only one resident, but
Well,
we,
it's legitimate, it's legitimate. You
Yeah.
have to address it.
This'll take some time. I mean, I think it's, you're gonna.
Well, that's it.
We're gonna get away with the first bit.
that's a great one. You wanna bring that up and let people know? I mean,
Yeah.
For next fall.
Yeah,
One
work
of
it
the
out,
person
the
will
next
trash.
Caucus.
That's one thing.
Not January, February.
No, at the end of the month, the end of December, that meeting, so you'll have it, you can read it.
Yeah, and figure it out.
You know, another problem that we run into, I don't know if anybody knows this, is that people purchase, I call it junk, bring it back to their homes, go through the junk, and then try to put it out on our trash. Or they get dumpsters, and now they're filling dumpsters up. This is residential properties now. You understand what they're doing? They're email, purchasing,
iPods, they purchase them for like a whole iPod. The
pod.
The pod.
And they buy for like $50, $80, or even more, but you take the contents.
Somebody leaves it, somebody purchases.
Storage
Rents
Storage, they
it.
default, they.
Yeah, then
auction
they have an
off
auction
the
and
site.
people buy it.
But storage war.
They try winning the lottery.
But they're bringing the trash back to our community.
Picasso in this thing.
And our trash contractor will not, has actually cited some people.
You also have
Push back.
businesses that,
Do we have a
Clearance, clearance.
Can be put out?
We have a limited, it's okay, it says 10 bags and things like that, and one large item.
I think it's
But
5
we-
cans, it's 5 cans.
The problem is we've got residents storing the trash inside of their properties and then only parsing it out. You understand? They're feeding it, but it's filling up every week, and it's obviously they're running a business.
Maybe they're feeding it because they can't put it all out at one time, or they don't want to
But
put
if
it
you
out
can't,
at one
yeah,
time.
they're-
Maybe they're
Now
putting
you're
out their yard.
you're becoming the disposal unit.
Yes, for a business.
For basically a business.
How do you know that it's a business?
Because regular people don't buy pots like us.
I mean, people don't do
3
this.
and 4.
I don't know anything about
Constant.
4 at a time, Pat.
We have other,
Storage units.
they pay, start, the storage unit that somebody
Places down
pays.
Blackwood.
God bless them.
People leave and
God bless
they
They
buy.
know how to make money, God
But
bless
it's the other people, that's my
Yeah.
point. If the neighbors didn't complain, do you agree to that statement?
We should be
If
working.
neighbors didn't complain, it's not an issue. As soon as the neighbors complain, it's our responsibility.
And then we enforce whatever we have on the.
Well, yeah, lots of, but you also could cite that for running your business out of there, I know that,
Yes.
right? I mean, there's other enforcement mechanisms that are available right now.
Well, who would do that? Keep night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now, the trash companies are citing these people who are doing this, because it's very obvious. And then the second issue is, and what's,
What
I
happens?
don't think it's,
What happens if you get?
there's nothing wrong. Our policy is if someone wants to clean their house out, fine, we take all their trash, because it's usually a one-time event.
Right.
When it becomes obvious, we had a person on 11th Avenue, do you remember that? Person on 11th that was cleaning out abandoned homes and bringing all the trash back to our town. So now the taxpayers, all the taxpayers of Runnemede are now paying for the tipping fees. Remember, what are we paying, $75 a ton?
72 something.
Yeah, whatever.
That's close enough. You know, so we're eating, you know, everybody, all 8,400 people are paying that person's.
It adds up, it's a lot of money.
Okay. So those are some things we have to do, and then the last thing I want to talk about is not on here, is going through the ordinance book now, we're finding that there's things that are missing. We're trying to figure out how we deal with it, and let me explain it. We found out the OEM wasn't in there, but when we were looking for it, we found other ordinances that aren't in there, that are in,
Other ordinances been adopted, haven't made it went for privilege.
yes. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to handle that. Because before we re-adopt ordinances to, you know, titles and things like that, you know, we have to, say, appoint somebody to a position, and it's not in the book. But I have people telling me that it should be in the book, that it was done back in the 90s, with the 80s.
So start over, if you can't find it, just do it over.
So we're gonna, but I think we should look for it first. We're trying to figure out a mechanism to do that. Some of the examples, what we talked about earlier, the CFO position is not in the ordinance book. The OEM manager is not in the ordinance book. The borough clerk is not in the ordinance book.
She's not, in the ordinance book, she's statutory.
I understand that.
Well, and so is
And then it's
the
a question.
CFO. And so is the CFO. They're all statutory.
So should they not be in the ordinance book?
That's right.
But yet the OEM is statutory, and I've seen it in other municipalities, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, what is the...
Have they had a review done by the general code companies?
We're gonna call general code tomorrow.
Correct. The general code did that review years ago, and, correct. And a lot of things that were there are not there any longer. Now, could that be the reason? Because they are statutory and they don't need to be?
Yeah, well, listen, if we're gonna remove an ordinance, there's a way to do it, and the way is to open the book and put a piece of paper. There are ways to do an ordinance. I have no problem with us doing it, I think it's cleaner and neater to have everything in one place.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so I have no problem with that, but I wouldn't, oh my God, what do we do, these people are here, they don't.
I understand that's not a big deal, they're here, it's just that, but I'm saying when we're sitting here looking at our finance department, and we don't have some of these positions that are there, and then they're referenced in other chapters. So if you Google, not Google search, but if you search our website, and just type in OEM, it shows up, it says that the OEM director will do this. But then, there's no description of the OEM director. Now, he's responsible to do something, but yet there's no position.
Right.
And one of the things we're finding out with civil services is saying was, you need to go reference the ordinance to say why you promoted someone. So if you remember the captain's position in the police department,
We had to do it.
Joyce had to send them, just today, they requested a copy of the ordinance, and the ordinance had to be adopted prior to the appointment,
Oh,
right?
yeah, we did that.
We did it right.
We did it right.
But they kept an eye on us with it, you know, and then they questioned other appointments that we did, and now they're reviewing our entire municipality. What are they reviewing?
They're reviewing the titles that we are allowed to use and what is non-competitive.
Well, classified, non-classified, competitive, or non-competitive.
Correct.
So Harry, just to throw you an idea, your title for some reason doesn't show up in the state of New Jersey. You still work for Stone Harbor for a while.
Does
So
any of this
we're
tie,
trying to fix that.
does any of this with the ordinances and updating them and everything else tie into the master plan?
No, totally separate track. But this,
A lot of ordinances in zoning.
that's a land use track. This is personnel, civil service. This is that side of the track.
Okay.
And so we're sometimes backing into it because, like I said, questioning us where an ordinance is, we have to produce it and move back on.
Okay.
So just making everybody aware.
They only knew that because this was raised with them by other employees about the captain's position.
Absolutely.
They would not have known.
Absolutely.
There's a spotlight, you're 100% right. This is why things don't get caught until a spotlight gets put on it.
Correct.
So that's that. I'm done unless you got any more questions for me. Or, no? Okay. All right, so let's go around the table. Ms. Pascal? Any?
Yes, of course, we had our Christmas tree lighting, which was very, very nice, and we had a lot of people that showed up, and a lot of residents. It was a great turnout, actually. Made me somewhat stressed a little bit because we ran out of some hot dogs and we had to run out
Too many
and go
people
get
showed
more. We had a photo booth that just was fantastic. Happy holidays from mayor and council, and you got 3 pictures over here, and that was great. And we had the balloon girl, and Deluxe donated a large sheet cake, and that
It was
went.
absolutely delicious.
So everything just turned out really well, thanks to Public Works. They were there from 4 o'clock on, and they just worked all week. And I loved the big Santa and the candy canes, and so everything just turned out perfect. Yes, it was. It was a great turnout.
A lot of trucks,
Mhm.
a lot of
Nice.
Yeah.
fire trucks.
Yeah, a lot of fire trucks came
Santa
out.
Claus.
We had a new Santa Claus this year. Mr. Galinsky was not feeling well, so we had a new Santa Claus, and his name was Santa Claus. And he was fantastic. He was standing up when they came down the street and doing his ho-ho. He was 6 foot tall, so he was a big Santa Claus. So real beard, and he was great. So everything just turned out, yes.
I was standing next to Bernie Wilson when Santa Claus was getting off or started to speak when he was still on the trailer. And there was one lady next to me, and she said, "That's not Mr. Galinsky." What, did you guys kick him out?
Oh, jeez,
And I
no.
said, "No," I said, "I don't know where you heard something like that, but no, he's just not feeling well, and he was not."
Yeah, he was very
We
disappointed.
would love to have him back.
We were, yeah, he's been Santa for Holy Child Parish, and he can't make it there either. So it's sad,
Yeah.
but hopefully he's on the mend. I attended the senior meeting last Saturday, and I do want to say that they are having their holiday luncheon on Wednesday, December 13th at the Metro Diner from noon till 3 p.m. And it's $14 per member and $15 per guest. So if anybody out there would like to attend their Christmas party, you can call Debbie Porta at 856-208-1706. Again, 856-208-1706. And right now, they have over $4,000 in their account, so they're happy.
We are reimbursing the
Yes.
senior club $250.
Yes,
for
we
their,
are. For their
49th, where was it?
for their anniversary
Anniversary.
dinner that they have every year, so.
And next year, our intent is in the budget to
Mhm.
pay for one.
A
One
really
event
nice
is-
luncheon that they want. They
So
want
instead
a
of maybe
nice
one
luncheon.
of our musics might change, or whatever the public events committee decides, they might
Yeah,
adjust
so,
their monies.
yeah, I did tell them that, so they're happy with that. Other than that, I guess what I'm gonna just say, progress. Oh, I did go to the municipal, I'm gonna say municipal alliance, League of Municipalities, and we got our sustainability certificate.
The bronze?
Yeah, the bronze award, yeah.
Did they give us another plaque, or is it just goes on the existing?
Yeah,
plaque?
I think it goes on the existing.
Okay, the
yeah.
plaque is at the library.
Mhm. And our borough Facebook page is just flourishing. It's just really, really great. So thanks to our administrator and the people who keep feeding him all the information. So
You're very well.
yes, very
Thank
good.
you, Mr. Long.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
with that I say progress.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ranieri?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. That's okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Yes, and if you missed the Christmas party, you should check it out next year because it was fantastic. Good job, Patty. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for my my committee,
Yes, you're welcome.
Eleanor and John and
Love working with you
Everyone
guys.
else. everyone
You're very welcome.
from mayor, council, sounds
Yep, definitely a good time. And in finance, our new CFO, as the mayor had already said, our CFO/administrator starts this Monday. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to a new year, a new budget, and a fresh start with our new administrator. I will be working with Jim, the mayor, and our department heads preparing our 2018 budget, and it will be introduced after we get our tax rates certification, approximately the first week of March, and the rest is progress.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Ms. Kelly?
Thank you, Mayor, and belated Thanksgiving to everybody. We had a wonderful party, Patty, it was great. It was a pleasure to be there and have all those people having so much fun. It's a lot of fun. In the police department, we have Roberta retiring, and we've hired part-timer officer, first-class officer Grassi will be taking her spot. And it'll be part-time, and the hours will be decided by the chief as needed. And,
Well, let me clarify, there's a couple of questions you asked. She's already a current employee.
yeah, she's a
So,
first-class officer.
The only thing that we had, as a part-timer, there's limitations on how many hours she can work.
Right.
And like Ms. Kelly says, the chief and his department will decide the hours. But the advantage of her position is she's still a Class 1 officer, so she can,
Yes.
as part of her total hours, she can still do those duties, she can do the police matron duties and things like that. So
Yeah, it's a
we don't
good
have to
fit.
formally appoint her anymore, she's already working for us.
It's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Yeah.
And in the fire department, everything's are going along very well. If you've seen what in the monies that have been coming in, it's going to be as good as last year or better. And they are right now looking at bids and vendors for the new squad. We hope to get a new squad in 2019. Yeah, I know, you're pushing back on that. But the squad is 20 years old. It needs to be replaced. So they're looking at that, and with that, progress.
Okay, thank you. Let's get you guys come back. Mr. Lobenstein, anything?
No, we did have a great time at the Christmas party. That went well. Things going along smoothly otherwise. As Patty said, their Facebook page is doing well, 1,604 likes now. A lot of compliments. I went Facebook Live twice during the parade. And a lot of people liked that. They said they missed it and couldn't be there, but they liked the videos. And I started a Borough Twitter page. I haven't tweeted yet, but I'll go over that with Mr. DeOria when he gets involved. And the rest is progress.
I mean, and what we're looking for is anything to communicate to the residents and the businesses of the town, anything that works. That we can. The sign is, the PO was issued a couple weeks ago for the LED board. It takes about 8 weeks to come in. Mr. Farrell and I were just talking about that. Probably the second week of January, it should all come together.
Is it a good one?
It's the picture that everybody saw.
No, the quality.
Oh,
detail.
absolutely. If you went to the Borough of
What you
Lawnside,
expect in
did anybody get a
the
chance to go down to
Midwest?
Lawnside?
Yes, I went to
So
Lawnside.
you have good detail and
It's
everything?
the same, basically the same board that the Borough of Lawnside built, or bought. Slightly, it'll be higher up in the air. The foundation was done during the engineering phase. So a little different setup because we have a clearance issue and site triangle where the Lawnside didn't have that.
Can it do graphics as well as
We
words?
do everything.
That's great.
Then we're gonna have to regulate electronic message boards. That's not, you know,
That's progress, right?
you have no idea how towns regulate, you know. Was there anything, so I just wanted to say that anything we communicate is something that's interesting. Mr. Root?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say, I've seen the pictures on Facebook, and I wasn't at the Christmas party, but I enjoyed watching the videos. Thank you, Greg. It looked like a fabulous time. I was at ice hockey, sorry. I'll just let Harry, pretty much, you know, everything's going smooth with the leaves, and yard waste. It's been going smoother. Just to tell people, patience on picking up stuff. We will get out to get it. It may last a couple days, but it will get picked up. The guys are constantly driving around, so they see it out there, and it will get picked up. And then I'll just say progress and let Harry start begging.
The only thing I'll say about that is, the only, like I said, I've only received one complaint so far, and you just made me remember it, is people, that they take the time and they hire someone to put the leaves out, rake their leaves for them, and then if the wind blows, it blows back on there. Some of them blow back on there. Not all the leaves blow back on there. I do understand that. And I understand their frustration. I hear what you're saying about making people patient. If there's any way we can continue to try to tell
Well, I've
people,
gotten many complaints.
okay, to let them know patience is
I
tough.
reiterate to them that we'll be getting around.
Sorry.
Everything's coming down at one time now. It
Yes.
was a late,
Do you schedule it like? put it
Yes.
out
We go every other week
Signs
and,
all over town,
Yeah.
when the leaves are gonna be.
first and third on this side.
Do east and
well, we
west.
do once, your street is every 2 weeks.
Well, for a leaf pickup?
Yes. Why is that good or bad?
We don't have them big
I know the week, you
leaves.
do it 5, 6, 8, 10 times?
Yeah, we're constantly running around. Now, just to let you know, I was on,
That's a lot
I
of
thought that too.
I know Gloucester Township waits for all the leaves to come down.
Twice.
Our voices every, when they wait
No,
for
no.
it.
They have two, one like just before this time, I think, and then one will probably be in a couple of weeks. But it's
And if
like-
you miss it, you put it out in the
Yeah, but you
yard.
hear what he's saying though? Before he's literally only comes out, his street, they come out one day and they come out another day.
Yeah,
And that's it.
two times in the whole season. So you just,
Cherry Hill's the same way.
It's quite a service we give.
you just, so, you know, we get our leaves free.
Well, you better, because there are neighbors that
Yeah, the problem-
complain because
problems get worse.
your leaves
So I
are
have my
mine.
leaves done on Monday, because they,
You know,
the week of, November 27th, they don't come that week, right? They don't come the first day, which they don't ever do. So now, but then if they don't come till Friday and you get wind, you have the same problem. But they're telling me they're coming in the week, they can't be in every place.
The only thing, once again,
32 weeks
No,
is
man, it's
great.
only windy and Runnemede.
it's only when you're, like I always
Just when
say,
you put your leaves in.
once you do something, it's hard to change it. So our policy has always been to try to get out there and do it. And our streets are different, let's be honest. Cherry Hill and Voorhees, our streets are tighter. We talk about Third Avenue. We have to get out there and try to clean them up. I think we have a decent system, and it takes, but little chunks at a time is better than,
Complain if your leaf goes on mine.
they do complain. But I will say I was on Pine Hill's website. You represent Pine Hill? And
Anyway,
Pine Hill does a neat thing where they actually have a interactive map on their website where they say where they've already been and where they're going. And of course, it's just a big square. So of course, people they say, well, you missed mine. Well, literally, I drove down Davis Road to go to my house today. If you know where Davis is by high school, and the leaves all got picked up, but new leaves are already out there.
Oh, yeah.
They literally, as the machine goes by, the next set of piles.
And you know what happens, then they call and they tell you that they were out there.
I know,
Pick
and it's
everybody
tough.
else but theirs.
It's tough, so we try to be as good as possible. It's a battle.
I
It's
actually
definitely
give, I buy public works guys, go
GoPros. But you know what it is, it's not even,
They can show, see your leaves right there.
the only thing we try to do is satisfy everybody as best we can. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job these last years, and the borough went from 2 leaf trucks to 4 leaf trucks.
So that's
So we have 4.
You do
Now,
a-
granted,
you do a
The
great
2 that we
job.
have, one's about 45 years old. Is it older than me, the one truck? I think they're close.
keep the people off the street.
And then, so, Mr. Brown, did you want to have something?
So you got 25 more years, Mrs. Kelly, on that squad.
25 more years.
Thank you, Mayor. This was the first Christmas parade I made. It was really nice. And the fire engines were great. I can't believe how some of them were decorated. Yeah.
Snow.
Yeah, everything about it was just really nice. And you guys did a great job.
When are we gonna find out who won?
She's usually
They were-
already,
they were done.
we'll probably know by,
The fire company does the,
by the council
It's
meeting.
really well done.
awards for that.
I'll make sure that Freddie gets that information. I would like to
Usually
announce
Bernie
what
sends,
towns.
yes, usually Bernie sends it to me.
Well,
Oh, does
Bernie
Bernie knows?
Bernie Moore.
All right, Mr. Farrow has the floor.
Well, I went to Washington Avenue today. They completed both sides of it. Top coat looked great. I also went out to Elm Avenue. They started that today, the handicap cement work, and that looks good. So moving along. And excuse me?
Sing it.
Yes, that's right. And moved along, and all the rest of progress. Still waiting for the borough to start the second phase. I'm looking forward to that.
Since everyone brought up the Christmas thing, I want to say that I didn't go. I was there and had to leave. I wasn't feeling good. However, one thing I say, like I always say about our group, we always are involved. I don't know if you've heard, they show up to everything. And without us all working together, without Ms. Passio leading things, it wouldn't get done. Without Bob going out to places, all of us doing our parts, communicating with our departments, it wouldn't happen. And it's one of the things that makes it very nice to work with a group of people who are always here for these things. As you guys know, I do a lot of reading and things like that. I actually read agendas for other towns. And I see who doesn't show up and who doesn't do things. And I hear the stories of elected officials who don't put their time in. And one thing I say about this group is everyone always does a lot. You guys got to see a little of my handiwork with Christmas tree lights and Christmas trees.
Absolutely.
I did do a little bit on my thing. In case anyone didn't know, one of my former jobs was I used to decorate Christmas trees for them. I don't know if you knew that.
My mother did that for years.
Everybody talked under your tree all night.
Yeah. My mother was actually got involved in the Christmas tree, when the artificial Christmas trees first came about. The vendors who manufactured the trees as a service used to go out and put the trees together for, everyone remembers James Way, Ames, Ripples, Channels, Frank's Nurseries. Remember Channels? Hetchingers, if you guys remember that brand. Yeah.
She did it for years.
My mom got me involved in it. It was quite interesting. I've done Christmas trees from Maine to Virginia Beach. I actually flew out one time to Detroit, to St. Paul, and then to Myrtle Beach one time to do Christmas trees.
Well, you did a
And
really
Fifth
good
Avenue.
Yes, he did.
So I did want to mention that that's always good about our group. So let's get to our professionals. Everybody will go, what was on first? Get the torch reading first.
Okay, I do have a request for two resolutions coming up. One is appointment. For,
We need to do that this evening.
No, we can do that next.
You want to explain to everybody what's going on?
Okay, we had, out of our seasonal help that we hired we had one depart, and with that, we're trying to fill up our positions, because if you don't follow us completely, we're down 2 full-time employees right now. Nick Ritz and Joe Smith departed, so their spots have not been
Department
replaced
is a
yet.
bad word. Haven't they moved on?
They moved on to,
Yeah.
Young Lick got a full-time
Yeah.
job at Gloucester Township Fire Department. He's working for Choose
Who's the
Lane,
second one that moved on?
Junior. And
Joe
Joe
Smith.
Smith moved to North
Oh,
Carolina.
the one.
he moved back to Virginia.
Took a sewer job down, or Virginia. Took a
Virginia.
sewer job
Yeah.
down
So yes, they not departed, they have moved on to greener pastures.
there. That's even worse.
They're running in the fields.
It's a field day for me, okay?
They're running in the fields.
But with that, we have to do resolution for the licensed operator,
We are required to have a licensed sewer operator, C2.
C2. So Lawrence Nucci, the gentleman who is holding our secondary, is moving up to be our primary now, okay? And then Joe is holding the secondary in title for now to meet the state's requirements.
We have to appoint 2 people.
So we have to appoint that. We're switch swapping. Larry's moving to the first position, Joe's going to second string.
Until we have employees right now who are taking classes and tests and hopefully.
We do, or they're going?
Yes.
We have actually 2 employees who are in the process.
Oh.
One of them being Mr. Wazon,
Oh,
who
great.
just has to take his test, I believe.
March.
And another one is
Bill
Mr.
Myers.
Myers,
Mr. Myers.
who also already passed the class and now has to take the actual exam also.
He has to apply for the exam. It's a whole process with the state for
But
that.
you have to go to apprenticeship for so many periods of time prior to doing all these things.
Okay, so that's the big one, and then the secondary is just an appointment of a seasonal help. Fill the vacancy that we have with that. So, we're trying to keep things moving with our staff that way. With that, the leaves are definitely down on the ground. We're going by and the landscapers are showing up and putting stuff back out on the street. We do the route, we don't go back until the route's completed, but if we have time for that week, we go back and redo the town. So it has been working. We have our new truck that has come in. It did the part for repairs. There was an electrical ground problem, so they did get that fixed at the dealership, and we do have it now. It has made 5 trips to Gloucester Township to dump 20 yards of leaves.
That's a lot of yards.
Okay, so, and that's a good thing because one out of the 4, the engine, unfortunately, departed today.
I like that.
So we're gonna have to look at, I know finances are tight right now and so forth, but with the new truck that replaced it, that was part of the whole thing. But we don't want to lose this equipment, so we'll probably be looking at budgetary for replacing the engine in 2008.
Now, this is the motor that runs the vacuum.
Yes.
Right, so it's not
The body's good, the vacuum part's good, it's the engine. And it's the
So we're
third,
down to 3 trucks.
we're down to 3.
that's why
But
it's
unfortunately, it's the 2 small ones and the 20 yards. So the one we lost was 25 yard. So that's the one that we do use on, Davis and for large now pickups, because it'll take more volume when we're not running back and forth. But the guys,
But it requires a bigger truck to pull it,
yes.
which is also another issue, making sure we have CDL licensed employees to do all
But
this.
the guys are handling it. We are doing overtime with the league. We did prepare for it. So we have actually been gearing up for it, and for the last 2 weeks, being aggressive with the leaves. It's just that everything came down at once, and it's going to take us 2 weeks to clean everything up, but we'll be going around in circles.
My granddaughter's loving it because I was raking today and she was jumping in the muddy puddles, she called it. If you ever
Well, we
watch
have
that
to,
thing.
we got that, but the borough still don't stop because we got that going on. So, we have to we're trying to figure out how we can cut grass because with the weather so
Grass is still-
the grass is still growing. So we still got to maintain the fields, we got to do that. We got recycling going on. Recycling is, our tonnage is going up thanks to Amazon. This week, we'll be,
Cardboard's good, right?
yeah, the cardboard right now is the biggest thing on the market.
So we're doing good with cardboard.
And we're getting dividends back with it. So, it's
There
not
was
costing us on
the
the
county sent us a letter saying we
My-
might have to
My
pay to get rid of
grandson
our
looks at
recycling.
fees on Amazon Prime. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
have cartons like out the wazoo.
Since,
They're going
since
right
school,
into recycle.
since school has gone back, our numbers have increased. Okay, it started at the end of August with the influx of school, and we've been looking at it, and it's been cardboard. Our weight's going up. We've actually gone up each truck, we've gone up 1 to 2 tons on each truck picking them up for the route.
Yeah.
So we're actually dreading this coming Thursday because it's Cyber Monday and that, but
It's gonna be
there,
crazy.
today, just in town, there's 3 UPS trucks running around town. There's 6 different FedEx trucks and
And then you have the
about
ones
8
that aren't even
of
labeled.
Amazon. The ones that aren't labeled are Amazon.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
about 8. So we're seeing that because we're trying to follow our trends.
Quick question for you,
That
Eric.
everybody-
Any idea, estimate, or an estimation on that motor replacement? Any idea?
I do not want to give the numbers right at this time. I don't have solid numbers to
Okay.
look at. We have to call the manufacturer for it because we're taking an old, it's a Ford engine, and now because of the new Tier 4, we got to replace it with the newer EPA requirements.
Is this the engine for the leaf system, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a motor effect.
So you don't have all the numbers in?
Yeah, we got to look to see it because it's got to be retro. They don't make, the one that we have, they don't make it anymore. So now we got to get a retro plate adapter and
So you're
figure out what engine we can put on there that meets the requirements.
Okay.
If it's even worth it.
That's what it's going to be. Is it worth it, or what's the price of the new one?
So I have one there's a request constantly to do sidewalks on Payne. Is that something we can do in-house, or do you need me to make a phone call?
I've been waiting for 3 months for Belmar to.
How many squares?
It's 2 squares.
Is there a driveway in there, is there anything else?
It's,
Why couldn't we do the squares ourselves? Do we not have a float and a, could we not?
I don't have manpower time. So we had it for Belmar because they were also supposed to be doing
Something
Ivor
from
Court.
fire. But you,
Well, also they were supposed to do Ivor Court from where we had the sewer repaired, the driveway apron and so forth.
so that's a driveway.
We have a driveway apron, 2 squares there, and we have the other 2 squares on Payne.
I'm gonna, if you want, I'll make a phone call for you.
Yep.
We have a shared service, and it's not working out, so we have to.
Are we, which part of it, which was part of the shared service?
They're not showing up.
For?
For the 2 concrete blocks on Payne, for the driveway apron on Ivor Court,
Plus the firehouse.
and then the firehouse had a
We grouped
request.
it all together.
Are they calling, are they saying we're late, we'll see you next?
Well, they've had their issues too, everyone falls behind.
Oh,
Are we redoing?
And they do their own towns first, let's be clear, towns are very territorial, they do their own stuff before they do other towns.
What's the plan with that down the road?
Well, it's one of the worst streets,
It's
it's getting financing, you know.
What street is this?
Payne Avenue.
Well, remember, we applied to DOT for the areas where we've already done the sewer line.
Right.
So that's been our, well, at least our guideline for this request for that. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't use our own money to supplement either that DOT project or some other road.
The entrance to Payne Avenue is like a third world.
Well, the other thing we could possibly do, and we talked about this before, were intersections. So maybe we take our own money to do intersections where you've got,
Look at how good Second Avenue
turned out great, turned out great. The problem is, you know, we have to make sure we do it the right way. We were able to do that as kind of like emergency repair, we did it kind of cheap and quick. Remember, we were required to go out for bids when anything's over 35,000, or if the aggregate of all the work is over that amount of money, or we're gonna get in trouble if we don't follow the rules. Is there anything else?
No progress.
Good. Your turn, Mr. Engineer, or as I,
Trust me, I'm gonna be sure.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've been extremely busy, so busy that I didn't have time to do my written report, so I'm going to rely on an oral report, and I will supply a written report before next Tuesday's meeting. As Bob said, South Oakland and Washington, the overlay was done today. We were able to extend the limits and get the mill and overlay done out to Evesham without going over the budget, so that
makes a big difference.
That's great.
So I will probably have a final change order for next week's meeting, because the contractor wants to get paid for the additional work, so I have to get a change order, so I'll try and get that before the end of the week, so it can be on your agenda for next week. Bob said the Elm Avenue project started, so we're moving forward with that. And I can't read my own writing now. The parking lot project out here, we're trying to close that out, so I probably will have a final change order for that as well, where we did some extras during that project. So I just want to close that out. The Borough Hall Phase 2, we have permits in place now. The shop drawings that were submitted were approved. One of those was for the block. The block is now ordered, and the contractor's been holding off digging the footings until he gets the delivery date established for the block. Once we find.
This is for the elevator.
This is for, yes, Phase 2, including the elevator. But they don't want to expose footings and then not have the block in place, so.
Can they do it during the winter? with
Well, it's
bad
not,
weather?
yeah, as soon as they,
Not a
yeah,
problem?
as soon
Weather's
as-
not a problem?
only if it starts freezing and they can't get the footings in, but that's going to be done well before then. But once I get a delivery date and a schedule from them, I'll let everybody know what that is. I'm hoping to have that before next Tuesday, so I can let you know when that project is starting. The Deluxe Bakery, we're working on a red line drawing so that we can have the borough get curb installed so that the applicant can install the sidewalk. We're about 80% complete. So once that's done, I will submit it to the county to get their blessing on it, and then we can get that moving, hopefully early next year. As far as construction, get the approval process going now so that
Or
we
to
get
spend
funding.
that money. We haven't-
Right, so we have to wait for funding to come in place and have better weather for, it's getting too late to do that work this year. And one thing that came up early last week is Caliper Collision is coming in on 9th Avenue and Black Horse Pike. It was a site improvement that went through the planning board. Chris Mecca needs a letter from us saying all the site improvements were done according to the planning board plans before he can issue a CO. We were never notified that the project actually was a project.
This is one of the reasons he's behind on everything, is we've been trying to catch up on, because they want to open up on December 4th. Is that correct? Was it 4th?
Yeah.
Signs came up, I saw
Projects
this.
on
It fell through the cracks.
Yes.
And
So we're trying to
we're trying to
inspect
have a
it.
mechanism to catch this.
So, but in the meantime, we're trying,
I know.
it's very simple, but it's not, things aren't being followed. So we want to get that whole problem rectified, but in the meantime, we're going to be trying to accommodate this applicant to get their TCO by this week so that they can
So we're
have.
doing the inspections tomorrow,
Correct. And,
doing a performance, or a maintenance bond, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, so the if everything's done according to plan, we'll be recommending the TCO. And then the CO will be contingent on them getting their maintenance bond, 2-year maintenance bond, paying all their escrow bills. And I think from some previous emails, they're consolidating lots, so they have to pay the GIS tax map escrow. So that's
So let's take the TCO.
45, no, it's,
He was nervous about even doing it.
it's $145 per lot.
Oh, because they're going to own the lot.
They're going 4 lots,
Oh, nice.
so that's $180.
I'm not for this TCO, but.
The reason we're even doing this is because the ball was dropped somewhere between planning board engineer, borough engineer, construction department.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
it's a circle.
But we still should have, on the TCO that we're going to issue on this particular case, an expiration date.
Yes.
And when it expires, if they haven't done those things, so we don't run into this thing.
Well, we're not gonna let them, we're hoping that his inspection really gets 99% of the stuff, correct? Is that, there were minimal site work,
Yeah.
right?
Everybody keeps saying that.
I keep saying
But if
it,
you
you know.
give it 30 days, whatever appropriate time frame, short with the time frame for TCO, it's a motivator.
I
It's to
understand.
sort it down with it, so it's okay, to get it done. Because you already know, we already have experience what happens. How long is it?
3 years.
That's correct.
30 days, you gotta give them 30 days, they can't have a dumpster out there any longer than that, right?
They want me to go.
So,
We gotta give 3 years. 3 years. The Lux is 3 years.
so we're,
I understand, I'm with you, but I think we have some responsibility.
Yeah, I understand.
We have responsibility,
But
we didn't do our
We're still
part.
allowed to give a time frame, and we have to be committed to enforce that time frame
Yes.
if they don't do it. Whatever's reasonable, you're in a better position.
But I don't think we give a TCO unless they at least do those parts, the maintenance bond, the escrow fees. I think we gotta hold them to those parts. Because we're never gonna get that out of them if we let them open up. You agree with that?
that's your call. I mean,
Then no TCO.
they will not be, I don't know if they can get a maintenance bond
That quickly?
that quickly.
Really?
You're dealing with the bond,
So it might be hard to get by the 4th.
unless they want to do a cash bond.
How much money are you talking about?
Depends what work is done out there and what the real cost was as opposed to,
Well, they gave one number, and he told me the number, and I put one of these fences up myself, these sliding fences, what's the sliding fence? $5,000 minimum for the gate. They said the fence, the sliding fence plus all the fencing is $1,100. I said $11,000.
Yeah.
Because it's a
So-
percentage of that number.
so it's whatever their construction cost was, the 2-year maintenance bond is 15% of that
It's
value.
15%.
So even if it's, you know, so it has to be a 2-year.
But you understand, to be business friendly, we have to bend, this is business friendly, we're bending. But you see the dilemma, 30 days, now what do we do in 30 days when they do this? Sorry, that was rude,
Shut it down.
but, you know, we don't do it. Now, business friendly, the Borough of Runnemede has to, huh? How you can do that? But that's the dilemma. Once they have employees, once they open up, once they have 40 guys working there, and Mark comes back and says, they didn't do this, what do we do?
Just shut it down. You only got to do it once. You only have to do it once.
It's tough.
Then don't give it TCO.
I know. That's the dilemma we're in.
That's the dilemma. Because I'm going to tell you, all this stuff would have been done way long ago if they had 30 or 60-day TCO at the lodge, and we shut it down. It would have been all done. It would have been putzing around for 3 years, it would have been done. Or they'd have just been not in business for 2.5 years. I mean,
You're right, the motivation
unfortunately,
is,
sometimes we have to be, you know, the tough guys.
it's tough.
Stop, because because you're trying to be business friendly, you're trying to do with your
You
community.
could win one too.
They
Oh, that
always
works.
win.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can always win.
He's not on the ballot.
That's right. I'm not asking you anything, Frank.
So that's all I have.
All right.
Unless anybody has any questions about it.
Len, did you have anything?
Actually, just a little quick update. We have strangely, or not strangely, never heard from anyone at Valley Court, which is no sweat off our brow. They're on their own area.
What do we do about, I'll give you an example. We're supposed to plow the streets. Do we plow the streets?
No. No.
So we're gonna send them a letter saying we're not plowing the streets.
Well, we could send them a letter and say, you know, since.
Because they didn't dedicate them, they had to take, they're supposed to finish stuff. We take over the road.
Right, they do, and they take over the road, and they haven't done anything.
So I send them a letter.
You should probably just.
And say, because you're not doing
Notice,
this, you have to do this so that
be
we can
prepared, your
take
street
over
will
the
not be
street.
plowed.
Yeah, make arrangements to buy your own.
I will,
What's that?
I asked Harry if they're doing anything with the pump station.
yeah.
They're supposed to have a C2 license.
Yeah.
I gave them the name of the person from Barrington. You remember, they overlap those two properties. I met with the president of their homeowners association, which is the realtor who sold all the houses.
Who's done nothing?
Well, she did it in Barrington. They've set up everything. They got a guy cutting the grass, they got a C2 operator, the road was dedicated back.
And the other thing real fast is that, and I don't remember, but you know where we have the sewer pipe name issue?
Bassett,
Is that a
Stormwater.
So I sent letters out. One guy responded, actually came to my office, met with him, made some interesting points. I talked to Mark. Mark redid. Mark said, you know, part of this really is a temporary easement just to get the work done once the work's done. So he redid it, so part of it's a temporary easement because this guy wanted to make sure he was able to get to his dock, which is already there. So that's been done. I have the new legals. So I'm gonna redo the documents. I'm gonna send them out. I fully expect that guy to sign it, because he said he would.
This is not the gentleman who has the garage or the shed on it.
No, that's the other guy who has been moved to move. Okay?
We send him a letter saying we're gonna,
We're gonna send him a letter. The next option is that we proceed with them and him. That's our option.
to put the stormwater line.
Yeah.
We gotta get the stormwater line.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get it appraised, what, you know, what the easements is worth.
Is he living there on the property?
No, he just has a shed.
Oh, just a shed.
The shed is over top of the stormwater
Yeah,
line.
right.
The stormwater line
The guy
collapsed
lives there. There's a house.
to the left. But the oldest is the shed.
But he does
If the
live
shed
there.
wasn't there, we could go dig it up tomorrow.
That's that little street.
Well, how would you dig it up? It's not your problem.
We don't have right of way, we couldn't do anything to save it.
That's why we need the easement, not to move the shed, to do the work.
You can't say under emergency circumstances.
Well, we could do all that, but I would still want us to start.
Have an easement.
And once we make the declaration and take it and send it, you know, $3,500 or $2,500, somebody's gonna say the easement's worth, or basically say the easement's worth, you know, and file a complaint, we can go do whatever we want. And if you contest it, then we go do what we have to do. But
Why
once
did
we-
you put the shed over the store?
He didn't know.
Oh.
I don't think he knew there was a stormwater line.
And the shed's not only over the line.
He was a new owner.
It's also half on the other guy's property.
Yeah, he actually,
Partially.
when he purchased the property, he must not have gotten a survey done. The shed is on the part of it's on the neighbor's property. Everything
No,
there.
he probably got a survey plan. And then the survey, the title company says,
We're not,
we'll insure you against any actual loss. Happens all the time with fences over the lines and stuff. So, you know, we're not insuring that. Everybody recognizes that you're a creation, so we're not doing it. So he could have gotten it, unless he bought it cash, he got a survey.
he might have got cash. Okay, anything else?
I have a question, maybe Lynn, you help me. Looking into the possibility of moving this building towards solar and getting prices and things like that, do we have to get 3 bids over a certain amount of money, $35,000?
Depends on the project.
And the solar project, would that have to be prevailing wage or anything like that?
We would be under same contract laws of every.
But you could certainly reach out to solar companies and get information.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, it's not a formal proposal, but just to get information, so and they could certainly tell you this is gonna cost you in the range of this, that, the other thing.
Well, they're gonna do everything per month. It's not gonna be like a cost.
Depends on if we own it up front.
No.
Well, the structure depends.
Well, you can.
I'm getting our options, and part of that was,
Well, a lot of times what you do, especially with municipalities, is that, so the big bonus for besides saving money, once you're elected, so that's a big bonus, is that it generates need solar renewable energy credits. So there's a market for them. Like there's a market for AT&T stock, there's a market for SMS. In the beginning, it was a great market. It's okay market now. So a lot of time, because there's tax credit things which you can't take advantage of, okay? The cost shifted, okay, comes away from us, and where it costs us very little, if anything. Meanwhile, they take the credits, they take the SREDs, they take the people who are going to install it, and then.
And they fund the money to install it, though, is that what you're
Yeah,
suggesting?
yeah.
Is that what the Board of Education did?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Board of Education didn't put up the money, they didn't bond it.
The one was venture?
Yes.
Well, that was a joint venture between the board and the town.
Okay, so the time.
Because
we
that's
put the money-
massive.
It is massive. What about the high schools? All the high schools have it.
Yeah, it was all,
It's all part of it.
It's all part of the project. It's all part of the project. So all the hospitals, I mean, the amount of solar panels on the front lawn of Tipper Creek is, you know, bigger than some towns.
Yeah, yeah. But that was a whole, so it was a joint
It was
venture.
a
so-
joint venture.
I think we can look at it, but what the point of you're saying is.
Options.
Yeah.
We're still, we're still, anything we hire, we
Yeah.
have to go, if it goes over a certain amount of money, we have to follow.
I was gonna go over that number if we're putting money, in. Yeah, okay.
If we're paying for it.
Gotcha, thank you.
Okay, the only thing I have that I wanted to mention is, we do have 2 employees that Ms. Kelly mentioned one, and they're not here this evening, but it is our obligation, in my opinion, because their last days are tomorrow and the 5th.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes, Thursday.
So the first one, just for those here in the audience, that everyone knows, and we're gonna put this on Facebook.
Very pretty.
They're very pretty plaques. This is from the Borough of Runnemede Mayor and Council, presented to Anita Marta, Borough Tax and Sewer Clerk. On behalf of the residents of the Borough of Runnemede, we take this opportunity to thank you for the 26 years of your outstanding service and dedication to our community. We truly appreciate the hard work and effort that you have given, and extend you our sincere best wishes upon your retirement. And then the other, she's Thursday. And then Ms. Iconelli, this is Mayor and Council, presented to Roberta Iconelli, Finance Office Clerk and Police Clerk. On behalf of the residents of the Borough of Runnemede, we take this opportunity to thank you for the 37 years of outstanding service and dedication to our community. So Roberta's here 37 years and Anita 26.
Wow.
And just to be clear, there's one other thing, is when a person who retires at that level, we have a borough ordinance that each one gets $1,000. It was done a long time ago for their retirement. So we do take care of those
Nice.
who have been here.
Did
for a
they
while.
know that?
Yes.
They knew that.
I'm just making it clear, letting everyone know what we do, and the employees, and, may do things for them. But to be clear, both of them are using some paid time off to get to the end of their time. Roberta had a couple weeks vacation, so she saved them up. And so she's allowed, our contracts, to use those couple weeks to do that. Vacation time is used at the end. Sick time is not. Okay?
Yep.
So, this is good and welfare portion of the meeting. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
You don't know.
You have to state it.
Ken Brooks, 811 First Avenue. Mr. Mayor, I know it's been 3 or 4 years since I asked you, since we're talking streets.
Yes.
In my lifetime, am I ever going to get my little 2-inch curb that I asked for? And since the boat ramp got shut down, finish First Avenue so the water would drain?
Interesting question. The boat ramp, you're right, that location was kind of not going to be feasible. The borough doesn't own past that, that's not a paper street all the way down there, it does end.
And that's at the water line.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure about that.
Yes.
Okay.
State owns the
But
water line.
what curb are you talking about?
From the house on the corner of Singley and First Avenue, 800 block.
Uh-huh.
When they did that, they told us they were going to widen the street. They never did. So you got 3 foot of grass. My neighbor and I both have grass.
Yes.
When Dave and Ella paved the street a long time ago, he had paper, so all the water would run the other way.
Yes.
The last 2 times they paved it, when they put my 12-foot curb across the street there, they rounded it. So him and I get all the water now.
Gotcha.
So we're not asking for curbs, side, we're asking for a
Mr. Farrell,
little,
can you put this on your list?
about this little, like across the street, in front of the pump house, have like a.
We're doing curbing and deluxe, so hopefully they will maybe.
So that's all it is,
together.
to keep the water from filling up in the yard. It runs in my driveway. And if you could do something where the boat ramp might have went.
Take the water to go down.
So what, because what happens, I'm losing 3 or 4 foot of street. So it snows, and then when they plow, I get my street back.
Yeah.
So now it's coming up to my driveway.
Yeah, we'll look at the end of that road again, but it is a little confusing where the lands are.
If you look at the map, it's supposed to run to the end of my property, which I had vacated in 1971.
You vacated that land?
Yes, we had, where the street is from my property, that's 3.5 acres behind, I had that vacated. They wouldn't vacate First Avenue to me,
The street is vacated by the.
by the borough. All right, but they wouldn't vacate, yeah, well, the street was
We
supposed to-
vacated to him
Him.
some land.
Ronnie Amster gave me the paperwork, and we had to vacate.
Yeah.
But they would not vacate part of First Avenue to me. They wanted to keep that. It was a long time, that was all dirt, they thought it was Spencer's driveway, until they paved the street when they put the pump house in, and they blacktopped the street.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. I know we looked at it, you're right, a couple of years ago.
But because of the title order now, it comes up to my property, which I even had vacated. So now the street where the title order is belongs to the state. So actually, your property belongs right up to the water line. That's why I suggested the boat ramp, because it's right there. And you go over to Mr. Williams' house where there's a tree, Harry knows there's a sewer hole there, right? Behind that tree by Williams' house, across from the pump house.
Lakeview. Stormwater.
That's the middle of where the street's supposed to be. So that's why I said,
We'll take a look at it again. I mean, maybe curbing is something we could do.
quick thing for Mr.
You're always welcome to do the curbing yourself. You do know that. You have the right to.
Yeah, well, I'd have to charge you $20,000. I'm retired, I can't work. Will you do the solar thing?
Now, thank you.
Check to see how long it would take public service to hook it up. A lot of my friends retired, got it done, like you said, they paid for it, taking public service close to 6 months to hook up the meter.
Wow.
Yeah, I did hear that's a lot of the problem. They come out like gangbusters doing the work, but then it just sits there and doesn't get.
Public service, now for the high school and stuff like that, they might do it because it's the community and it's the high school.
Municipality, yeah.
Yeah,
Before you-
PSEG's losing, so why are they running out?
They're not rushing.
They're not running out, it takes roughly 6 months for that to be. The last thing, Pat, for my little thing I brought up the senior meeting, anything about the hunters? Because I had them out there tonight, it wasn't a shotgun, it was a 30-06.
I did talk to Paul.
There were people hunting behind your.
No, they weren't hunting tonight. They're aggravated with me because I'm trying to stop the hunting in the crib.
Do you know who these people are?
Yes, but I'm not gonna bring it up. Let
I'm
them
not in
take
a
off.
public meeting, but
I'm not gonna bring it up. I know who they are, they're all, some of them are employees of Runnemede,
what?
some of them live in the neighborhood. And the thing is, here it is now. We have 12 bald eagles on the crib.
I understand, I remember. Your wife.
Now,
No.
according to the people I report, when I see the bald eagles, when I go to Philly, there's one that stays up there by, when you go up Audubon, go up under the bridge, there's a family there, and I report that I see it. She makes a record of it. They're ready to go to the feds, because it's tidal water, and the eagles are out there. Somebody's going to get
What was the
caught.
weapon you said? I didn't understand.
Today, I believe it was a 30-06. It
What's the
wasn't a
30-06?
shotgun.
30
It's a rifle.
It's a rifle.
Yeah.
They weren't hunting, they were just shooting. Now,
Shooting?
they're shooting towards the island. You know where the island is?
Shooting in the borough of Runnemede. There's
I'll let you
Yes.
figure that out.
This says no extinct, no firearms, no discharge of firearms.
Now, I can't say it was from Runnemede. It could have been behind Walmart, but they were out there. It wasn't a shotgun. They weren't hunting. Started at 10 minutes to 4 and ended at 4:30.
Are there gunshots in the morning? Do you hear gunshots in
Yes.
the morning?
Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning. They're out there at 10 minutes to 6. What
Call me and I'll come out.
are you going to do? You can't get there. You don't have a boat ramp.
Let him shoot me. Let him shoot me.
You know what? It doesn't help my PTS every morning either. 10 minutes to 6 and I'm asleep. I was home 25 years one time, and I actually recently...
We talked about it earlier. This is infringing on your rights, your freedom.
It's
It's your right. Why wouldn't you follow the law? We have laws and let us know
Because
who
of the
these
people
are
who
so
live
we
in
can
town
investigate.
think they can get away with anything they want. They're all
That's
related.
not how, I've never been that way.
Well, I'm sorry, you haven't been in my neighborhood for 40-some years.
Yeah.
So. But the thing is,
I've been in my neighborhood for 20 and I would never allow it.
when Walmart Shopping Center wasn't there, they got away with the conservation officer because RCA was over by 42.
Who cares about the past?
No, but now that the shopping center's here, they still think they can get away with it. Conservation officers don't even show up. He said, go ahead and hunt.
Well, find out who that guy is.
But Paul said the same thing, they're allowed to hunt 300 feet and the shotgun doesn't go that far.
What?
So,
Yeah, that's Paul's answer. That's why I gave up.
Well, the rule is.
no, this is
hunting
over
with a
indefinite,
shotgun
this is
is
over
100
indefinite.
450 foot.
It's 100 yards.
There's
450 foot from a draw.
Hunting in the borough of Runnemede.
No, this isn't different. The Deptford mayor had the county line changed, so he could hunt out there.
It's on the dump.
So this isn't running.
It's on the Deptford side. But the shopping center is within the state law.
But the
For-
people, but the
It's not
people
our
that,
property, not our.
So it's not our
No, I'm
jurisdiction.
asking Paul to contact Deptford, which you might as well talk to that wall, because they don't do anything over there anyway. But,
I would call the,
well, I'm just letting you
I would
know,
call the Fed.
but that's where it's gonna go.
But you were saying that there.
But it's not in our
But
municipality.
there is residential.
I can't always say that, because they hunt down by Route 55. They park their truck, come off 42, they park their truck on the bridge.
Not in running.
Where's the Runnemede line when you're at Green Acres? It's Route 55.
You say they walk down the
But-
ramp, they come down towards.
I know that,
Green
But
Acres.
that's, no,
But you did
Borough doesn't
say
touch
that there
55. We
was
touch,
Runnemede
we touch Turnpike, we touch 42.
42.
We do not touch 55.
42 feet. Where's the Borough line?
We have a map. It does not, you know.
They hunt down there. I can't say if they're running me or Deptford. This is what I'm trying to say. Down there, I don't care.
Take thick pictures. Take photos.
Anyway, photos of them at 6 in the morning, it's so dark.
Call the police every single day. Call them every day.
Call them every day, and something like that happens.
Tell them, call me and I'll call them. I'm up at 6.
They did it 40 years ago and they shut them down. I got a ticket. And it's been quiet. Now all of a sudden, the last 3 years, they're back.
Let me find out who they are.
So I just wanted to bring it up. Ask Pat about it. I didn't know if she talked to
But
Paul.
if it's in our municipality, we have more say. If you want me to, I can call the mayor of Deptford. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, well, you can call him, but I don't know if he's the one that had the line moved so he can hunt there. Freeholders
The mayor
told,
of Deptford moved the line.
he had the township line moved out from where the borough Runnemede is, so he could hunt there.
It's not.
I
Are they
find it
hunting,
very.
are they hunting
Just so you
on the
understand, it's not
water?
Well, this is what he's telling everybody.
He can tell everybody what he wants, but it's not.
Who's he telling? The mayor saying
The
this?
people I talked to from the state, they monitor all the eagles on Big Timber Creek, they go to National Park, they go down to Bridgeport. They have a record. Right now, there's 60,
Give me these people's names.
no, I can't. But,
If you can't do that, then there's really.
why did you get her name? But right now, there's 60 bald eagles between Salem and here. But the thing is, the eagles are out
If
there.
you want us to do something, you have to give us
Well,
information.
this is what I did. I guess have Paul try to do something. Get a hold of Deptford, see if they'll do something. Get a hold of the conservation office. I tried to call the conservation office, they never answered the phone.
Okay, all right, I'll look in. Give me as much information.
That's all I wanted to do.
All right. They really helped me out, though.
Yeah, well, I'm helping you out like you helped me go to my curb and my.
Oh! That takes funding.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? No. Seeing no one else, someone would like to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Motion by
second
Mr.
that motion.
Lobenstein, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor? Public portion is closed. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Root, second by Mr. Lobenstein, Farrell. All in favor?